This segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Hello again, everyone. I'm Martin Folse. Very sad to bring you the news of Mr. David Norman. We'll bring up his picture now. And of course, what a character he was, what a great man he was. David Joseph Norman Jr. was born on June 25th, 1935 in Houma, and he passed away peacefully surrounded by his family on June 15th, 2025. He was preceded in death by his father, David Joseph Norman Sr., his mother, Isabella Carey Norman, daughter Melissa Ann Norman, sister Joyce Norman Swoboda Bordley, wife Mary Miaza Norman, and wife Barbara Berry Barker Norman. He is survived by his son, David Joseph Norman III in Laney, his daughter, Susan Norman Minville Broussard and John, grandchildren, Jennifer Minville Fontaine and Jim, Justin Norman and Kristen, Trey Minville, David Norman IV, and his great-grandchildren, James Fontaine and Jackson Norman. He was known as Joe Baby to his grandchildren and wider family circle. He was always in the company of those who loved and admired him. He took over the Barrow Drugstore as its chief pharmacist when his father passed, and later worked part-time for People's Drugs and Haydell's. He was a full-time family man whose devotion and loyalty never wavered. Golf was his other passion, where he always achieved his primary goal, and that was serenity. While his backswing was minuscule, his score was not. He loved and cursed the saints as appropriate. He loved to laugh with and never at others. And his stories had tomfoolery, drama, and wisdom in fairly equal amounts. He was a man of rock-solid faith. He observed the rituals at St. Francis de Sales and St. Anthony and practiced true Christian ideals in his everyday life. Everybody who knew him misses him dearly. And I want to come back because I had the privilege of doing a one-on-one with Mr. David. And we always sort of had jokes about his toupee. Well, the joke was on me on that day.
As you can tell, I have my toupee on, okay? But I only wear it when I'm working or at church. So this is neither one of them, so I'm going to take it off. And we'll continue. And now we're comfortable. Okay.
Never in the history of one-on-one has somebody done that.
Well, it's always a first. I just figured I'd be truthful and transparent, and let's go.
He got me on that one for sure. But let's talk about when he decided to become a pharmacist in his own words.
Tommy and I were sitting one night discussing what we were going to do. It's not like it is now. I mean, kids don't think about it when they're freshmen in high school, worrying about what. We just had a good time and we didn't worry about it. And this was like maybe a week or so before we were going to graduate from Thibodeau College. And what you going to do? And what am I going to do? And well, my dad was a pharmacist. His uncle was a pharmacist. He worked at the store. So let's go to pharmacy school. So we did. We went to Loyola and spent 4 years there, 4 good years in New Orleans.
Well, there you have it. Look, I always ask that one word at the end of the show, the one word that people would describe you as, or that you may want yourself when it's all said and done.
If I went to your family and I went to your friends and I went to everybody who's worked with you over the years and just got a conglomeration of people together, and I said, give me one word that would describe Dave Norman. What do you think the one word, or what would you hope the one word would be?
Reliable. You know, I'm there if you need me. Yeah. Or I'll try to be there if you need me. Reliable.
It's a good word for you.
Yeah.
No one's ever said reliable. No one's ever done what you did in the beginning of the show. No one's ever said reliable, so you've broken the barrier on a couple of occasions today.
Okay.
And of course, I can remember Mr. Norman from the early days. They lived in Barrios. We lived in Mulberry. That was like West Side Story. But all kidding aside, his daughter, Melissa, was in my class. His oldest daughter, Susan, was a class above us. And of course, David was in my brother Mike's class. They were such a fun family, always joking around, kidding around, laughing, having fun. Miss Norman was a great person to be around. And certainly, it was just easy to laugh with a guy like Mr. Norman. When you saw him, he always had a joke. He always had a smile. And, I always thought, well, maybe he doesn't take life that serious. But I'm sure he had his moments where he had to be serious with those kids, for sure. But he certainly was a joy to talk to over the years. And certainly, he did one-up me that day that I did the one-on-one. We used to clown around. And I think throughout the years with Mr. Barker and Mr. Waits and all the practical jokes that they played on each other, well, Mr. Norman decided, because we had these talks about his toupee, that he was going to one-up me right off the bat on that one-on-one. And when he took that toupee off, he certainly had me. That was Mr. David Norman. Expect the unexpected. To his family, to his friends, our condolences go out, and we will certainly miss Mr. David Norman. May he rest in peace, and God bless he and his family. This segment was brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together.